I'm Mia, and I run a small account dedicated to exercise and healthy living. Nothing fancy, just everyday posts about workouts, meals, and staying motivated. I wasn't big or famous, but I had a steady group of followers who liked the content and sometimes asked questions. It was a nice hobby that had grown into something more, just by sharing my story. One Saturday morning, after finishing my usual gym session, I uploaded a short video of my workout. The routine wasn't anything special, some squats, stretches, and a bit of cardio. I added a simple caption about sticking with your goals, even on tough days. As usual, the comments looked normal, supportive words like "keep going" or "thanks for the inspiration." But there was one comment from an account I didn't recognize. The message said something like, "You've got good form and you don't quit. That's rare." At first, I thought nothing of it, just a casual compliment from someone following me. Still, over the next few days, I began to notice something strange. Whenever I posted Instagram stories, there was this same mysterious user who always appeared as the very first viewer. The account was unusual. It had no photo, no posts, and no information about who they were. I figured lots of people like to watch stories even if they never post anything themselves, so I didn't worry big at first. But what felt odd was that they watched every single one immediately after I posted, no matter the time of day or night. One evening, I casually mentioned it to my best friend, Sarah. We were sitting in the living room sharing snacks when I told her about the quiet, shadowy account. Sarah laughed it off, saying, "It's probably just some random fan or a bot. People freak out about social media stuff all the time. Don't stress it." I tried to believe her, but inside, something didn't sit right. The feeling stayed like a small knot of worry I couldn't shake. Then, late one night, about a week after the first strange comment, a new message popped up on my phone. It was from that same mysterious account. The message read, "You're really committed, aren't you? Not many people keep going like you do." It didn't sound threatening, but it was weird knowing someone unknown was messaging me out of the blue, noticing things I never thought were obvious. I wasn't sure if I should respond. After a moment, I typed back something simple like, "Thanks, I try my best." I kept it polite, but short, hoping it would end there. But that wasn't the case. The messages became more frequent. They began by commenting on my workouts, saying things like, "Great job with your deadlifts today," or "You seem to push yourself harder than most." It almost felt like the person was watching me too closely. Then the tone changed. They began noticing details no one else could know. For example, they said, "That red hoodie looked nice on you this morning." My heart sank, because I hadn't shared any picture of me wearing that hoodie that day or mentioned it to anyone. I wondered if they had seen me in person or were somehow tracking me. That thought scared me more than any message. I didn't reply to that last message. Instead, I started feeling uneasy everywhere I went. Going to the gym was no longer just a workout. It became stressful. I kept checking over my shoulder, looking around for someone who might be watching me. I tried to tell myself it was paranoia, just the way social media sometimes messes with your mind. But the feeling kept building. The day I got a message suggesting I take a different route home from the gym was the tipping point. It arrived while I was walking alone down a quiet street. The message said, "That road is empty at night. Better choose a busier path." I froze, looking around in the dim light. The street was empty, silent except for the distant sound of a car passing. My heart raced. I hurried the rest of the way to my apartment, locked the door and blocked the mysterious account, hoping to stop whatever was happening. But it didn't stop. The next morning, a new message appeared from a different empty account with no profile details. It read, "Blocking me won't make you invisible. I still see you." Nausea swept over me. How many accounts did this person have? How deep did their surveillance go? I thought about calling the police, but wasn't sure they'd take this seriously. It was creepy, yes, but there were no threats or evidence of breaking and entering. Days passed with more strange messages. One morning, the sender commented on my early jog, saying, "Good pace today by the park trail." I never shared that run anywhere online, and my location settings were turned off. It hit me. I was being followed, or at least stalked in some way I didn't understand. I couldn't get comfortable even in my own apartment. At night, the silence felt loud. I kept hearing small sounds and felt eyes on me even though I was alone. One quiet evening, I was watching a cooking show on my laptop, trying to relax, when a message came through. "That show is fun, but not your usual style." My chest tightened. I hadn't told anyone I was watching that show. How could they know? Then another message popped up saying something surprising about the current episode. I felt exposed, like my privacy was shattered. It wasn't just about social media anymore. It felt personal. I called Sarah, voice trembling, asking her to come over. When she arrived, she looked around carefully, checking windows and doors as if she expected to find someone hiding nearby. We sat together and she told me firmly, "This is serious, Mia. You need to report this." Hearing someone say it made the fear more real, but also gave me strength. I went to the police and explained everything: the messages, the timing, how the person knew things they shouldn't. The officers listened, but without clear proof of a physical threat, they told me to block accounts, be cautious, and keep my privacy settings tight. It was helpful, but it didn't fix the fear inside. Sarah helped me reset everything. I changed passwords, deleted old posts, and adjusted my routines. I stopped sharing certain details and left my phone behind during workouts. Despite all this, the feeling of being watched lingered. After a few weeks, I moved to a different apartment, somewhere busier and with better security. I deleted my old accounts and tried to start fresh. That helped a little, but still, every once in a while, random messages appeared from unknown profiles. They were often small remarks about something personal, like mentioning a store I visited or a favorite coffee spot. The words weren't mean or threatening, just reminders that someone was paying attention. I never respond anymore. I mute notifications and tell my friends when something strange comes up. I try to live normally, but sometimes find myself glancing over my shoulder or locking doors twice. It's a strange feeling, knowing your life can be seen by someone unseen. Even though I try to take control and protect myself, I'm aware that sharing parts of your life online can leave you vulnerable in ways you don't expect. The story isn't about a dramatic ending or a shocking twist. It's a quiet reminder to be careful with what we share online. And if something ever feels off, no matter how small, it's okay to take it seriously and seek help. Because sometimes the most unsettling things happen quietly, right where we feel safest.
One day, I got a follow request on Instagram from someone I didn't know. Her name was Brielle. Just from the profile picture, it was clear she was attractive. She looked like the kind of girl who'd turn heads anywhere she went. Her account had about 4,500 followers, and she followed maybe a couple hundred people back. I checked through a few of her photos, and each one had lots of likes and comments. Everything on the surface looked normal, no obvious signs of fake or bot activity. After I accepted her follow request, I noticed she sent me a direct message right away. She told me she'd found me on Tinder and thought I was cute. That made sense since I'd put my Instagram handle in my Tinder bio. We started chatting casually in the DMs over the next few days, mostly about normal stuff, working out, classes, and music we liked. One time she posted a new photo and asked me to comment, so I dropped a couple of fire emojis. She liked that, of course. The comments under her pictures were mostly from guys complimenting her looks. Some of them looked way older. I didn't think much of it at first, just figured that's how it usually is for attractive girls online. One night, while we were talking, I casually mentioned I had the house to myself. I decided to take a chance and invite her over, making it sound light and joking around. She said she might be down and told me her place was only about 10 minutes away. I gave her my address just to see how far it really was. She confirmed she'd come, which honestly caught me by surprise, because I hadn't expected her to say yes so quickly. Before things got too serious, she asked how old I was, and I told her I was 18. She said she was 19, which seemed fine, but then something made me pause. I remembered a comment thread on one of her posts where she had responded to a guy asking her age. She said she was 25. That stuck in my mind because it didn't match what she told me in our messages. That's when I began to look a little closer at other details. I scanned through her Instagram comments and noticed something strange. Almost every comment was from a guy. There wasn't a single supportive comment from any female friends, which is rare for most girls' profiles. Also, there weren't any posts with her and girlfriends together, or even pictures of her tagged with other girls. It was just her alone in every photo. And the men commenting? A lot of them seemed older, maybe in their 40s or 50s, and they were throwing out some pretty bold compliments. None of it felt natural. The more I looked, the more it felt like a catfish situation waiting to happen. Something about it just didn't add up. The mismatched ages, the lonely comment section, and the strange vibe the whole profile gave off. So I decided to block Brielle's account. I didn't want to keep talking, and honestly, I didn't want to risk anything by sharing my address or more info. Almost immediately after blocking her, things took a weirder turn. I started getting direct messages from 3 different accounts, all new and sketchy looking. They each had a profile photo, but their followers were fewer than 50, and the accounts seemed fake. The messages weren't friendly either. They were threats, telling me I shouldn't have blocked Brielle and to unblock her or else. Their tone was creepy and aggressive, which made me freeze. I ended up replying to one of those accounts, asking who they were or what they wanted. It didn't take long for them to shoot back a message demanding I unblock Brielle immediately. At that point, I blocked all 3 accounts and started deleting our earlier conversations in case any personal info was in them, especially the message where I gave my address. Looking back, I felt lucky I hadn't shared my phone number or anything else. From then on, I switched my Instagram to private. I figured staying hidden was safer. I even tried inviting different friends over since I had the house to myself, hoping to distract myself from the whole mess. But nothing really helped. Eventually, I just gave up on the idea and headed to bed. Sleep had always been hard for me. Maybe I only fall asleep easily about 10% of the time. This night was no different. I tossed and turned for over an hour before the quiet of the house finally started to make me drowsy. Then, I heard something. It wasn't like the usual noises of the house, the creaking floorboards or the heater clicking on and off. These sounds were louder, sharper, and felt out of place. But I didn't get up to check. I just stayed still in bed, eyes wide open, watching the dark corners of the room. I finally drifted off, but not for long. Suddenly, I woke up in the middle of the night, still groggy but alert because it felt like something had disturbed me. You know how sometimes you hear a noise while sleeping, but only really process it moments later? That's what happened. I sat up and was looking around when, to my horror, I saw something in the far corner of my room. At first, my mind tried to trick me into thinking I was imagining it, but the shape seemed clear. It was a person. And what made it worse was the horrible grin they were wearing. My breath caught in my throat and my heart hammered so loudly I thought my neighbors must have heard it. I didn't scream. I just scrambled out of bed as fast as I could and bolted outside, barefoot on the cold floor. I ran down the hall to my neighbor's door and pounded on it like my life depended on it. The neighbors opened up and took me in right away. Between shaky breaths, I told them someone was inside my house. They called 911 for me, and the police arrived shortly after. When the police searched the entire house, they didn't find anyone. Every window and door was locked, except one backyard window that had been left unlocked. That was the only way someone could have slipped in unnoticed. The officers tried to comfort me, saying it could have been a hallucination, something people sometimes experience in the moments after waking up, especially when scared or exhausted. I learned later that episodes like that can happen, where the mind creates vivid images that feel incredibly real. That night was one of the longest and most anxious I've ever had. Every shadow and noise made me jump. Was I just seeing things, or had somebody really been in my room? I guess I may never know for sure. A few months after all this, Brielle's Instagram account disappeared. It was either deleted by whoever controlled it or taken down by the platform. I don't know what really happened or who was behind it, but the whole experience changed me. I don't trust as easily online anymore, and I take extra care with who I talk to and what I share. If there's any advice I can share from this, it's to trust your instincts. If something feels off, don't ignore it or hope it'll get better. Protect yourself, set your accounts to private, and block anyone who makes you uncomfortable without hesitation. And know it's okay to reach out for help if you ever feel threatened. Sometimes, the scariest things aren't obvious in the moment. They live quietly, making their way into your life through places you least expect. So stay safe and be cautious out there, because not everyone online is who they seem to be.
I was never Instagram famous. My account had about 300 people following, which seemed like a decent number for someone living in a small, sleepy town. Out here, most people know each other, especially in our own neighborhoods. One quiet night, I was lying on the sofa watching a movie when my phone buzzed. There was a notification. Someone called Lauren had started following me. I didn't recognize the name, so I clicked on her profile out of curiosity. On her page was a photo of a blonde girl, and she looked like one of those people who were just naturally popular. Over 5,000 followers, a bunch of spaced-out pictures, and hundreds of likes and comments on every post. Guys filled her comments with hearts and compliments. Everything about the profile looked like it was real. Friends tagged in photos, genuine comments, and photos dating back months. As I scrolled through Lauren's page, a message popped up before I could even think about following her back. She wrote, "Hey, I don't usually send messages first, but I think you're cute. I'm gonna be honest, I keep active, and I've had a few people slide into my DMs before." So I replied, "Thanks, I think you're pretty cute too." Just like that, we got into a long chat. We talked about working out and laughed about high school memories. She gave me her phone number, and before long, we made plans to meet up the next night, a Friday. It was a twist. I'd never agreed to meet someone straight from Instagram, but she seemed easy to talk to, and she was honestly pretty stunning. The plan was to meet at a lively bar in town everyone knows called Millie's. I was feeling those first date jitters as I sat in the parking lot waiting for her call or text to say she'd arrived. In the end, when I did get a message, it wasn't just a normal check-in. She said her car had broken down on her way and asked if I could pick her up. It took me a second to believe what I was reading. I tried calling her, but it went straight to voicemail. She sent another text describing exactly where she was, a side road not far from the highway with trees all around. Before heading over, I checked her Instagram one more time. All the signs of a real person were there. Regular posts, tagged friends, old comments. It seemed fine, so I replied, letting her know I was on my way. I took the back roads through the quiet, tree-lined streets. Eventually, I spotted a black car pulled over on the shoulder, hood open, hazard lights blinking. It was surrounded by forest on both sides. I parked on the other side of the street and got out. Oddly, the windows of the car were completely dark, so heavily tinted I couldn't see anything inside. I tapped softly on the passenger window and waited, but nobody answered. I walked around to the front, checked the engine, but nothing looked touched or out of place. I was starting to feel uneasy. I texted, "Hey, where are you? I'm here," thinking I'd leave if she didn't answer soon. Then I noticed the driver's side window was rolled down a crack, just enough to catch her attention. I knew for sure the windows had all been up only a moment earlier. Unsure, I called out, "Lauren?" Just then, a hand appeared through the small opening. What sent a jolt through me wasn't only that someone was finally there, it was that the hand wasn't a woman's hand. It was a man's hand, large, signaling me to come closer with a finger. Everything in me screamed that something was very wrong. Trying not to show how scared I felt, I said shakily, "Forget it, I'm leaving." My legs wanted to race back, but I kept my pace steady as I walked to my car, heart pounding. Once inside, I hit the lock and started the engine right away. Glancing in the rearview mirror, I noticed headlights with no lights on following me as I pulled away. I switched off my own headlights and made some quick turns onto side roads, hoping to shake anyone tailing me. After a few tense minutes, the car disappeared from my view. I finally made it home, shaken but okay. I went to check Lauren's profile, but it was gone, blocked, just like that. Later, I learned the account had really belonged to the girl in the photos, but she wasn't the one messaging me. Her profile had been hacked, and I wasn't the only guy the person behind it had trapped in this twisted plan. Thinking about it now, I'm grateful I trusted my instincts and didn't walk closer when everything inside me said no. I can only hope that anyone else caught up in the same trick got away as safely as I did.